Live from tape, pre-recorded at our studios in Austin, Texas and Portland, Oregon, it's Syndicated with Lesley and Ben. Hey everyone, I'm the Ben of that.
And I'm the Lesley. This is a twice-monthly podcast about television, genre, and storytelling in which we watch an episode of a show and explore the history of television one episode at a time.
If you're just now tuning in, we're talking about workplace comedies, and that's a great time to talk about Party Down, the short-lived Starz original series about a group of Hollywood caterers who are grappling with and recovering from fame while serving buffets to the already rich and famous. The show features Adam Scott as Henry Pollard, the recently retired actor who has quit show business after a single commercial has tanked his career. I don't think I need to tell you that Adam Scott went on to play Ben Wyatt in Parks and Recreation, one of the most predominant, sitcom roles of the 2010s other than Ted Danson. And Lizzie Kaplan, who plays Casey Klein, a bitter but ambitious comedian who is juggling a future in comedy against sticking with her husband who is moving cross-country to Vermont. Lizzie Kaplan would go on to play one of the lead roles in the Masters of Sex series. The trinity of main characters is completed by Ken Marino, formerly of Veronica Mars, who plays recovering addict Ron Donald, the head of the catering team that the two of them work for. While he's obsessed with professionalism and earning enough sway with his boss to open a soup restaurant, Ron has an impossible time wrangling the cats that work under him. The catering team is rounded out by Ryan Hansen as a young wannabe actor who keeps auditioning for D-list movies, really. Martin Starr as a hard science fiction screenwriter who is light years away from a big break, and Glee's own Jane Lynch as Constance, a similarly retired bit part extra with a long filmography and an even longer string of lovers. The show is produced by Rob Thomas and Paul Rudd, of all people. And Lesley, I think you have some additional insight into that specifically. Other than being the world's number one Paul Rudd fan.
Well, sure. I actually read, doing a little bit of research for this show, that Adam Scott was a last-minute addition because Paul Rudd was unable to play that role. That role was originally meant to be for Paul Rudd. So, how about that?
Yeah, I can absolutely see those, especially 10 years ago, those two being interchangeable to a degree.
Sure. So, the Rob Thomas thing is really quite funny. Ben, this was your pick for us to watch.
It was, yeah. This is a show I've watched a couple times. Just finally finished all of it earlier today. But yeah, this was my pick. Yeah,
and I've never watched it. I've heard about it. I've heard of it. I've known that I needed to watch it, but I never had. So as I was watching it, I texted you, Ben, after seeing the sixth very familiar face and asking you, is Rob Thomas involved in this? Because Ken Marino is certainly not the only Veronica Mars alum to appear on Party Down. I actually found an article that listed no less than 13 different actors who had also been in Veronica Mars and Party Down at one point or another, either as recurring characters on both or having been in an episode of one and a recurring character on the other one. But there are actually 6 of them in this one episode that you and I watched together, Ben. So, wow. So that's why I texted you and I was like, Rob Thomas has something to do with this, doesn't he? Because he certainly likes working with the same folks, and he did that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting because you've told me that 2 of the cast members are in the main cast of 6 characters that I rattled off earlier. Although that cast changes actually as the show goes on. So that would mean there's 4 others in this episode.
Yes,
which is
there are.
Interesting because there's only about 5 other characters in this episode.
So I actually was wrong when I told you that it was 2 people who are main cast members. It's actually 4. There are 4 that are main cast members on Party Down who were either on an episode of Veronica Mars or were regulars on Veronica Mars.
Damn.
Ken Marino and Ryan Hansen were the 2 that came to my mind most freely, as they are very important characters in both shows. They are recurring characters in Veronica Mars and have their own deep storylines and what have you, and then they're all obviously also in the main cast of this show. But also Jane Lynch and Adam Scott were both each in an episode of Veronica Mars as well.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at everybody getting work.
Look at everybody just getting work.
Good for them.
Which is antithetical to what's going on this show. So
yeah, I guess so. Also, I guess incidentally, as you're a pretty substantial MCU fan, so am I to a degree. Martin Starr goes on to play Peter Parker's his teacher, the one who like takes them to Washington D.C. and whatnot. He's their what's that academic decathlon like advisor guy? Yeah.
He sure is. Yes, he is.
With a beard, of course. In that, he's largely clean shaven in this series. Looks like he was also on Silicon Valley as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what show he was on that I have seen that I would recognize him
Freaks
from,
and Geeks, perhaps.
Because that is the one. That is the very one. Because as I was watching Party Down, I was like, I know that guy's face from somewhere, and where is it? And it was not from Spider-Man because, as you said, he's older, beard, all that stuff. It's absolutely from Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to talk more about cast comparisons, but real quick, I would like to jump into the plot of this one. Last but not least, the episode we watched today was California College Conservative Union Caucus, in which Party Down, the eponymous catering company, caters, the California College Conservative Union Caucus. It's a wild ride as all of the caterers are given unsolicited advice from a bunch of would-be White House interns. Tension rises between Henry and Casey. Ron burns an American flag, all while the governor is on his way.
Allegedly.
Arnold is teased to a significant degree, but does not actually appear in this episode. In fact, I believe the very last words of this episode are, "So, no Arnold?"
Yes, they are.
From a very broken Ron.
Yes. So, Ben.
I know the question's coming.
It's your pick, and I want to know why.
It's my pick because it scratches a certain comedy itch that I enjoy. Kind of a realistic dramedy. I'm trying to think of comparative examples. I guess stuff like like shows in which that are less sitcom-y, although I do love a good sitcom, but less sitcom-y and kind of have like a core note of like bitterness or a core note of like melancholy to it, but are like kind of funny as a part of that or in spite of that. Oh, you know what? Dead to Me.
Yeah. Also, it does give me in terms of comedic timing and in terms of the caliber of the humor and the specific flavor of the humor reminds me a lot of It's Always Sunny.
That too. Yeah, the kind of zany aspects of it.
Yeah, but they're nicer people.
Yeah. The show's got a little bit of zaniness, but it doesn't trip too hard into like absurdist or surreal. It's all very realistic conflict. It's a bunch of petty people being petty toward each other and kind of grappling with some, pretty realistic human emotions. I think Henry and Casey's love story is very compelling throughout the 2 seasons. I'm trying to think of other... maybe a little Grace and Frankie, too. Of kind of like...
Yeah, I can see that.
Of kind of like a very... It's like a straight shot comedy that it doesn't... I mean this in no way a negative comparison, but it doesn't have like Scrubs flashbacks or or Better Off Ted writing to go to shows that we've tackled in the past.
Sure.
It feels realistic, and I like comedy that feels realistic sometimes. I mean, hell, there's a little bit of BoJack there too. BoJack is also a comedy around like kind of a melancholy conceit. Now, granted,
Hollywood.
And Hollywood, yes.
And Hollywood.
Granted, BoJack has flashbacks and dream sequences and hallucinatory episodes and, goes underwater and half of the people are animals. But you know what I mean? Like there's a, it's comedy centered around drama and sorrow and regret and also people just kind of being petty toward each other.
Sure.
Yeah, so I realized as I was watching it, as I was kind of trying to think of like, well, what about the show compels me? I was realizing like, oh, I guess that's kind of like a genre of comedy I enjoy.
Yeah. You have a type.
Yeah. Search Party, maybe kind of too. I don't know.
Okay.
I enjoy it, and also, I mean, no shit. I'm an artist myself. I'm not a screenwriter, and I'm not an actor. I mean, I'm kind of a writer sometimes, but it's about weird transitionary steps from one career to another, and kind of feeling not particularly committed to any one place, and it's about the community you make with the people who happen to be around you, whether you like them or not. Now, granted, I like all my work friends and I like all my podcasting friends, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Which I think is definitely a hallmark of a great workplace comedy. Is the found family, for better or for worse.
Absolutely.
Kind of dynamic.
Also, I think it's funny.
It is very funny.
I think it's a funny show. I think Ken Marino's fucking great.
Well, he's great in everything he does.
I think Jane Lynch is like one of the best parts of the show. Most of my favorite jokes are lines of hers. I have multiple favorite jokes in this episode, but I do love when Ryan asks like, "Hey, how big would a bird be? How big would a bird have to be before you were afraid of it?" And she just very quickly puts her hands on her hips, stares away for a second, goes, "I don't know, 100, 200 feet, doesn't matter. Anyway, so I'm here to talk about."
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tight performance all around, like in terms of both the show itself and also the people on it. Seems sadly canceled before its time. Obviously, this I guess I didn't actually say the years the show came out. It's 2009 to 2010, and what had happened was that Jane Lynch went to Glee and Adam Scott went to Parks and Rec, and oops, there's the cast.
Yeah.
So, season 1 is all the people that I mentioned a moment ago. Jane Lynch actually leaves partway through this season and is replaced by Jennifer Coolidge.
Oh, I love her.
And then in season 2, Megan Mullally,
yeah.
who on Parks and Rec plays Ron Swanson's estranged ex-wife, and also plays Nick Offerman's real wife.
She does do that. She does play Nick Offerman's real wife on real TV.
Yes. So the cast kind of shifts a little bit. Jane Lynch's role essentially becomes that role picked up by Megan Mullally. Yeah, it's fun. Oh, also in season 2, the I guess as described, Henry is a bit of a washout actor. He basically he made it not big, but he was starting. He had an upward path, kind of going upwards. He was doing some commercial work. Looks like he got cast in like some low budget comedy movies or whatever. And then it just kind of sputtered out because he did this one beer commercial, where he had a line, "Are we having fun yet?" He fell into the trap that I'm sure people like Flo from Progressive or what was that guy who kept showing up with the cart of beer at like random. Well, anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Or I guess the most interesting man in the world. Really,
Sure, any of those kind of characters.
Any of those characters that are created to represent a brand.
Yeah. So absolutely fed up with, I guess, just continually getting recognized and never getting any parts. He signs back up for this catering crew that he used to be a part of before he made it quote unquote big, which is now run by Ron Donald, who was a fellow caterer on his team. Ron is now the boss of this kind of sub team. I don't know, antics ensue because, Henry's kind of over it already. Ron is coming back from his, party hard days. He's now a responsible business adult and is trying to gain enough funding and managerial experience in order to run a Super Crackers. Which I guess is like a Panera Bread or something.
Yeah, it's like a from what I understood, it was an all-you-can-eat soup restaurant. So it's more like a super salad, but without the salad.
Yeah, there we go. Well, I mean, I'm sure that's what it's, the direct reference to then. And then in season 2, basically, Ronald goes off to go do that and just leaves Henry in charge. So when 5 months later the Super Cracker fails, Ron is now working for Henry in season 2. And the dynamic between them shifts completely as Ron is now the depressed washout, and Adam Scott has to play the kind of hard ass boss for a bit. So much like many actors on the stage switch between Sherlock and Holmes, so too did Adam Scott and Ken Marino switch between the boss and the employee.
Sure. Interesting side note, now that you mention it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know how regional Super Salad is. We have them here. And another thing that Rob Thomas is known for is, because he lives here in Austin,
mm-hmm.
and another thing that he is known for is injecting Austin or things that he's exposed to into his shows.
Oh, I'm fully willing to believe then, yeah.
In Veronica Mars, there's mentions of things like Amy's ice creams and stuff like that he just like throws in. It's like, and like Oil Can Harry's, which is a gay club here in Austin. So like, just like just a short like little aside, but if you know, you know. And so I didn't know the name of the place because I've only seen this one episode. So as soon as you said that it's Super Cracker, I'm like, I'm pretty sure he got that from Super Salad.
Oh, unquestionably. Yeah, I have no doubt. There was something on the top of my... Let's talk about this cast a little bit. Because in addition to, I mentioned all those kind of dramedies that I was thinking of what it reminded me of. And obviously Veronica Mars came to mind for you. And
mm-hmm.
this feels so very much of its period of like 2009. Look, Casey has a flip phone that she is constantly, dramatically shutting. It's still very much, it feels like, that era of show business as well. The way they keep talking about Hollywood and all that, Judd Apatow movies and Comedy Central and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, if this were now, it'd be, I have a Quibi audition coming up. Judd Apatow, I guess, is still relevant, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
It would be a different name in there for the emergent comedy guy.
Yeah,
don't know which
definitely.
name, though. As I mentioned, Jennifer Coolidge is in there. There's a lot of Best in Show kind of people, a lot of like Christopher Guest kind of people in there.
Okay.
Jane Lynch, obviously. Would it be cool if I could suddenly think of another person then?
Other than Jane Lynch?
Yeah.
Far as...
Oh, Ed Begley Jr. is a guest star in an episode.
I read that because he was also in the article about Veronica Mars actor crossovers, because he has also been in Veronica Mars.
Yeah, Jennifer Coolidge, as I mentioned, Jane Lynch, Ed Begley Jr., Jim Pettick is one of the people who has hired them at one point. It just kind of has like that kind of energy as well. Gotcha. I was shocked that Fred Willard was in no way involved with this show. You know what I mean?
Unfortunate. Yeah, definitely. You're like, everybody else is here.
It has that level of kind of dry comedy.
Yeah, I think the moment that I texted you about like, what is Rob Thomas's involvement in this show? Because clearly he has an involvement, was actually not when I saw any of the main cast, because I was like, oh, shit happens. But then it was when there is a couple of conservatives who are there at the conference. And they are a couple, and they get into an argument because he gets like an internship in DC or something.
Right. I thought we were moving to Vermont, etc.
Right. That guy and that girl were both on Veronica Mars as fairly important supporting characters, and were actually a couple on Veronica Mars for a time.
Oh, that's a nice throwback.
That's when I was like, all right. All right.
But in addition to Veronica Mars, in addition to like Best in Show, excuse me. Yeah, this is like such a perfect time capsule of like 2009, 2010, because it's like everyone I associate in comedy, at least with our current decade now, is in 2009. A couple episodes later, it's like guest star Kevin Hart. Kristen Bell plays a huge character who's I think in like 3 episodes, and obviously I know she had already done stuff by that point. But like, she 3 years later was Frozen, which is obviously that's when that, you go Kristen Bell from there, good place to follow. Oh, I mean, in the episode that we watched today, Josh Gad is featured prominently. Yeah. Speaking of Frozen, but also, he's gone on to have a pretty substantial voice acting career.
Yeah, but I feel like he was first. Really, his kind of breakout was in Book of Mormon, wasn't it? But I mean, I guess that doesn't really count because it's Broadway and people don't. I mean, it's different audiences.
Sure, but it all weaves in together. I mean, that's what the show's about. Is these people who are kind of waiting in the wings to have their big moment. Yeah, no, Broadway feeds into TV. TV feeds into movies. TV feeds into video games. It's it's all over the place. Yeah, absolutely. That Book of Mormon was his big breakout, but it's just cool to see like all these people that are like about to be the big deal or about to be so closely associated with the 2010s.
Yeah, I really do love seeing stuff like that, like watching shows like that where you see these little baby versions of these prolific actors that you now enjoy in lots of stuff.
Oh, hell, Ken Jeong is in this.
Yep.
This year, 2009, is the same year the first Hangover comes out. He's in Community later this year. And then, Ken Jeong has been a comedic force for the 2010s ever since.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool. It's cool to see a lot of these people just before. You know what I mean?
I agree. I always get such a kick out of it.
Obviously, also famous podcasting couple June Diane Raphael and Paul Scheer are also in this.
Yes,
the hosts of,
I love them.
Yeah, the hosts of How Did This Get Made and the stars of many things. Oh, including June Diane is in Grace and Frankie.
Mm-hmm. Did I ever tell you about the time that I met Paul Scheer?
No, do tell.
So, we can cut this if you want to, but I was at Austin Television Festival, which I've mentioned about 1 billion times on this and other podcasts that we've done together. And they were holding a contest that the festival was kind of an unofficial thing, but the contest was if you were able to attend 20 events over the course of the weekend, then you'd win something neat. And I was attending by myself, and I had nothing better to do. And I was there for that festival. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And so they had it was on Twitter, you would just post pictures of you in the theater at the event or whatever and be however many out of 20, blah, blah, blah. So I had 19 under my belt. And at the very, very last event for the entire festival was to be my 20th event. And it was actually an event that was a very low-key kind of thing where Paul Scheer showed the audience a bunch of pilots of shows that he had some hand in creating that never got off the ground, that never got past the pilot stage. And so I showed up and the line was very long and I almost did not get in. So I almost did not make it to the 20th event. But I was so happy when I did because that was a great way to cap off that weekend because it was funny and it was stupid and it was small and it was very, very nice. However, when I got there, Paul Scheer was like, the organizers want me to ask if Lesley is here. And I was like, yes, I'm here. I made it. And so it was they had me go up on the stage and they gave me a poster and a mug from the festival. And so then Paul Scheer signed my poster and he was like, so you went to 20 events. Tell me about that. Who all did you see? And I was like, oh, I saw Norman Lear and Katie Sackhoff. And I started, listing on, and he started signing the names that I was listing off on this poster. So,
God.
So I have this poster that's now framed in my bedroom from the event with Paul Scheer and a bunch of other autographs that are all from Paul Scheer's hand. Then afterward, he took a picture with me in the poster, which I still have also, which is great. But they also gave me a free festival badge for the next year, which is a $250 badge. So fucking score. It was awesome.
That's nothing to shake a stick at. Any chance this panel was filmed at all?
I don't think it was. I wish that it had been, but I don't think it was. Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well,
I should go digging though. I should go digging because I'd never even thought to look. But yeah.
What year was it?
Oh gosh, this was a few years ago. This was season 6 or 7, I think. They do their years and seasons, and so let me look. I know where to look to see if I can find it if it exists.
See if you can find Austin Television Festival 2015, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be really fun if I could. Yeah, that'd be really fun if I could. But anyway, that's the time that I met Paul Scheer. He was great.
Yeah. Fuck. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool. I like him in everything he's in. He's also I know he does a bad movie podcast, usually about the production failures of movies about ninjas. But I've heard him on other film podcasts, and he's actually very insightful about film.
I mean, he was great. Like all of the pilots that he had created, were very interesting, and some of them I was like, man, it really sucks that did not become a show because that's pretty great.
He's really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, sorry. Glancing at the cast list, Michael Hitchcock is also in this, and he was also in Best in Show.
There you go.
So yeah, no, I think this thing has such a weird comedy DNA where I can see out onto the timeline and I can see everything that went into it and everything that came out of it. You know what I mean? No shit. But speaking of what I was just saying about people being famous, or people being in this just before they hit it, obviously, I said at the very beginning, Adam Scott and Jane Lynch.
Definitely. Definitely.
I think it's, I mean, look, the since we were talking about the 2010-ness of it, the comedy in a lot of places is dated. There's a lot of use of the F slur and the R slur. Jokes that are kind of a little mean-spiritedly homophobic, or mean-spirited in a way that doesn't really. Mean-spirited in a way that isn't necessarily bigotry, but kind of still doesn't necessarily jive with modern comedy sensibilities of 2020.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
A lot of kind of bitter comedy to it. But, I think largely it's still pretty funny. It still holds up. There's a lot of really good physical comedy that's, still pretty prevalent. And I'm willing to chalk up a lot of its failings to being of the time, the thing I just praised it for also being of. But, comedy ain't perfect.
It's something that is constantly evolving for sure. As we gain a little more insight and sensitivity into the human condition, it's something that has certainly seen its landscape change quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, even so, I think it's I think it's a cute story about ambition and careers and not necessarily feeling content where you are or trying to start feeling content where you are. I like that. I like that kind of subject matter.
Yeah, this is actually why I'm so glad that we watched this one and that we watched Superstore back to back, because they both have such similar motivations for their characters in terms of that. And these are the only two blue-collar workplace comedies that you and I could think of, really.
Right, the most capital W, capital C working class.
Correct. So I just really like that we watched these two back to back.
Do you want to talk about the episode in question, like the actual plot and its like philosophy and all that?
Yes, I do, because I want to ask you, Ben, why you specifically picked this episode, because this seems like, of the available episodes, I know how you feel politically, and so it just feels kind of interesting that you would pick this one. So why don't you
please
talk to me a little bit about that?
We, comrade.
Yeah.
Our podcast. No, that being said, yes, I did pick this one on purpose. I wanted to avoid, I think with comedies, whenever we do a season on comedies or cartoons or whatnot, we're going to have a lot of flexibility with what episode we picked, because they're sitcoms and you can jump in wherever, We're doing a workplace comedy season. I assume down the line we'll do a living room comedy, but comedy season. With dramas, I feel like we're gonna be kind of. Basically, I just didn't want to pick the pilot. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we're going to be doing a lot of pilots in the future. And but also, the pilot, it kind of top loads a lot of the information that you need. But I wanted to kind of, get an episode in which they were already in the swing of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the episode where Henry comes back to the team for the first time, or the characters are getting like their full elaborate introductions. They're just kind of already in the swing of it. And I figured this episode, which again is the guest star is a early Josh Gad, a couple years before he's the little snowman that he'll be forever. As long as Disney keeps paying him, he'll keep being the snowman.
Yeah. He also, by the way, quick aside, very quick aside, when Wisconsin Democrats were doing a lot of fundraising stuff to try and get money to get Trump out of office, effectively, one of the things that they did was the Princess Bride cast reunion. Then they did the table read from like everybody in the cast who was still alive. Obviously, yes. Andre the Giant is no longer with us, and so the part of Fezzik was played by Josh Gad.
Oh, that's fine. I didn't realize.
Did a great job. Mm-hmm. Just did a fantastic, wonderful job. Anyway, aside over. Josh Gad is great.
That rules. Yeah, so this episode, it features some 2009 era Republicans. So right after McCain's loss to Barack Obama, a couple years before they run Mitt Romney for whatever reason.
Because they didn't give a shit. I just don't know.
Yeah, hard to dissect that era of politics, if we're to be perfectly honest.
True.
But yeah, it's a bunch of like, very snappily dressed dudes that are going to start spouting election fraud nonsense in 10 years. Because, look, that's been a lot of political discourse in the last, 4 or 5 months is like, well, the Republican Party of 10 years ago wasn't like that. And yes they were.
That is why I wanted to talk about why you chose this episode specifically, because yeah, very much so. Yeah. Absolutely. Like when they talk about how there are two kinds of people or whatever they say, how there's like achievers and fuck ups, and now there's like the two kinds of people. Yeah. Same as it ever was.
Water dissolving,
Same as it ever was.
Moving. Yeah, I mean, not to put too fine of a point out of it, but they're a bunch of uncaring, evil, snappily dressed dickheads. And I can only think of that one article that came out in 2015 or whatever that was that profile of Richard Spencer that just it was like, look at this nicely dressed Nazi.
Oh yeah, yes,
or whatever the exact phrasing of the headline was.
What is this Nazi wearing?
Yeah, wow, they can put on suits now. Who is he
wearing? Yeah, nice haircut.
Yeah, monsters, all of them. But yeah, no, the young members, the leaders of tomorrow, as Ken Marino's character says, are depicted as these uncaring, obsessively patriotic, just creeps, like in the true sense of the word creep. At one point, Roman is trying to make conversation with one of them, and just says, "You know what I like about you conservatives is your meat." And the guy's only response is just the line, American beef.
Yep.
They've got their list of cocktails, and they're all called the Freedom Teeny and the Rudy Giuliani.
Oh yeah.
And what is it? A little later, they're hey, we don't care about PC culture here. Call me a shrimp to my face if you want me. Whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah, that whole exchange. Yeah.
It's just such a good parody of okay, look, the Republican Party hasn't changed. They're still the same evil people. But the optics they put on top of that have changed. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that is very much the, whoa, that's a little too PC, don't you think? 2010 era. That facade that they had then, which now, now swap out PC for cancel. Mm-hmm. Small government has been replaced with election fraud.
It's so interesting, though, that they do have, or they did formerly have a facade in which, this whole young college conservative union used to behave as though they were more upper class, as if they were smarter, as if they were more cultured, which, wow.
Right.
For the average Republican supporter, shall we say, typically not the case.
Yeah, and
I don't know who their audience used to be.
Yeah, and the dynamic has shifted, and it's weird because now they're so much of the discourse after the Capitol riots has been oh, these are angry working class people, and then you have to point out to people no, these are dentists.
Yeah.
These are all either ex-cops or real estate brokers from Texas. In that one person's case, these people are rich. I don't know when this shift happened, but don't kid yourself, folks. It's all a lie. It's all a veneer.
Yeah.
And I think they really captured the gross, smarmy individualism that they're preaching
yes.
that the party is preaching at this stage of the story.
Yes, that is an excellent way to put it. I agree.
And there is a lot of individualism. Like literally one of the opening lines is like well, folks, I don't think, they're trying to discuss their slogan for the next year. And it's like, together we can build a brighter future. And someone stands up and says, I think together sounds a little too socialist. Can we do something about that?
Yeah. Yeah. And or when they're debating whether or not it's okay to give Arnold Schwarzenegger Cuban cigars, and they're like, it's a free market issue.
There we go. That is my favorite. That is my favorite joke because it's so beautifully executed. It is
great.
Is Josh Gad's character is trying to kind of network his way into the presidency of their chapter, and then presumably, he's trying to leverage that into some sort of political career afterwards. So he has invited Arnold Schwarzenegger down to this event, and he got this battle-torn flag from the war in Iraq, and he got this box of Don Cargans, something like that.
I don't remember
Cuban
the exact
cigars.
Brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Target. Don Targon. Cuban cigars. The next two words started with C, so I started alliterating. And he's got this whole nice package in this nice engraved briefcase for the governor. And at one point the caterers are chatting, and someone says no, they got him these Cuban cigars. And one of the other council members of this caucus overhears that and goes, we got the governor of California communist cigars. And there's a solid 5-second pause before it cuts to a room that is just shouting at each other. It's a debate
erupting.
Hall, and you just hear, it's a free market issue!
Free market issue! Yeah.
Josh Gad just screaming over everybody else going, it's a free market issue!
Yeah.
It's about what's best. They make good cigars.
Cigars, yeah.
That is my all-time favorite joke in this episode. It's just that just the 5-second pause and then uproarious yelling.
Yeah, I loved that cut. It was fantastic. That was really great.
But there you go. It's about the individualism and the contradictions between their philosophies. And I think it was actually very poignant at the end when I think it's Casey and Henry are talking or whatever, and they just kind of repeat the phrase at each other, you just can't win with these people. And that's true. Yep. Because they don't have a coherent political philosophy.
That is very true.
It's whatever whips up the masses. It's not, there's no...
Yeah.
The same people who are complaining about, cancel culture now were worried about PC culture 10 years ago. And,
PC culture 10 years ago, yeah.
And it's all, fucking Donald Trump Jr. went up on stage at CPAC and they said, they're canceling the Muppets, as if that were even remotely true. It's just, you can't win with these people.
Or possible.
Yeah, they canceled the Muppets by making all 5 seasons of it available for public streaming.
Right.
Got us, Disney.
Whatever.
You literally can't win with these people. They'll always find some way that you're inferior.
Yeah.
Because you didn't try hard enough, or because you aren't a straight white male, whatever.
Yeah.
You failed, you quit, you're just not working hard enough. You paid your taxes like a sucker, it's whatever else.
Yeah.
And
if it's not this, it'll be something else.
You just can't win with these people. I do think it's an interesting commentary that they make Ron a fan of that.
Yeah.
Because look, Ron's a bit of a suck up. A overarching thing for his character is that anytime he kind of runs across anybody with a little bit of money or a little bit of power, he's just I'm trying to be just like you. I'm trying to get that super crackers. Or he's I'm actually a bit of an investor myself. He'll try to kind of sway his way into situations where he thinks it'll get him closer and closer to owning essentially a Panera Bread or a Chipotle or whatever we've discussed. And I think it's a pretty smart commentary to point out how often managers kind of fall into that right-wing mentality thing.
Yeah.
Because here he's individual success. I think I'm a shining example of Arnold's personal political philosophy. He's and look, he's sucking up, but also it's not untrue either that he's going for the small business, pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of mentality. Later in season 2, he is casually reading a book that's just called Management Tactics of the CIA. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
with power and with, kind of, with power and with kind of like an authoritarianism, drive to it, managers can start to fall down that path. I mean,
Sure.
I don't think that's a controversy.
Oh, yeah. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much either.
Yeah, every boss I've ever worked for has been a hardcore Republican. Wealth generates resentment, etc.
It's very true.
I'm not, boy, fucking Karl Marx over here just blowing your minds. Hey, the rich, sometimes they...
What?
But that's also
Yeah.
the joke, is he's not rich. He's just one step up on a catering team. And but he starts like acting like a young Republican at parts, but he's like, you're not even at the 50% mark.
Yeah.
You can't touch the 1%.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's a really kind of clever aspect of that character, is like how much he just sucks up to power at any given opportunity. Well, because his job is also, based on comment cards and whatnot.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think he's a really compelling character. I think they're all really compelling characters. And I think, I don't know. I mean, can I expound on the finale of the show a little bit?
Sure.
I'll keep it pretty spoiler free, but
Okay.
yeah, the show ran for 2 seasons. Like I said, the loss of Jane Lynch and Adam Scott, and I'm sure a couple other people were, bubbling towards other roles as well. Kind of killed the ratings a little bit. And the show wraps pretty cleanly by the end of season 2, and everyone kind of gets a nice little send off in a way. Like,
Okay.
Roman kind of cracks like a script that he's been having problems with. Casey and Henry, who have, in the truest, sitcom sense, been on again, off again, kind of come to a better understanding of why they're, kind of compelled toward each other. And without spoiling it, Henry, makes a life decision that is kind of like affirming of their relationship together, even if it doesn't preserve their relationship, which is really sweet. And that's like the character arc for the two of them,
Okay.
Ron kind of gets to kind of stay in his place as, where he wants to be. The people who have had, X kind of problem find X kind of solution. And it, I don't know, it's just it's a nice wrap up for these characters that, like, they're television assholes, but they're like, I don't know, there's like a sweetness underneath all of it, even if they're all on constantly at each other's throats.
Yeah. Well, it is a show that I definitely enjoyed, and I definitely am interested in watching the rest of it, particularly because it was only 2 seasons. It's fairly short, very digestible, which to me is great. So, yeah, so this is a show that I will definitely be watching more of. I'm also very appreciative of the fact that while you did not pick the pilot, you picked an episode, like the next episode, so
yeah.
so I haven't missed a lot. I didn't need to know a lot of context before watching that I didn't get within the episode, more or less. It might, Adam Scott's character might have been slightly more interesting or like eye-catching to me if I had known the exact circumstances behind him deciding that he wanted to quit. But they still had established, I understood why he was there. I didn't get the whole, the whole treat of seeing, are we having fun yet? But I'm going to watch the rest of the series for sure now, because I really did enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, you will, because that is an ongoing joke, is that, he got out of Hollywood where he was constantly being recognized as the beer guy. And now he is working these catering gigs in which he is constantly recognized as the beer guy. Is that he does not ever escape it.
Okay.
And that people are constantly going to him like, aren't you you guy from that beer commercial? And he just like rolls his eyes and goes, yeah, are we having fun? Yeah, that's me. In the typical,
aren't you the horse from Horsing Around?
Yeah, exactly. In the typical like kind of dry Adam Scott delivery of like, yeah, all right,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a charmer. It's a charmer, I think. Aside from the things I've mentioned about it's outdated humor in places, I think it's still a winner overall, and it's one of those heartwarming comedies about people who are mad at each other. Like
I'm definitely looking forward to watching more.
Yeah, like all those other shows I mentioned, comedies with kind of a not even a tragic core, but just kind of like a melancholy core. All Hard to really define that. Excited to explore more of that as this show goes on. Sad comedies for sad nerds like me, who are also funny.
I mean, I'm happy too.
Yeah, and yeah,
I'm sure we can come up with some.
Yeah, and they cater all sorts of events. Each episode's pretty jammed packed with, again, people that you'll recognize as being famous later that year. It's good stuff. J.K. Simmons is in like 2 episodes.
Yeah, I saw that because once again, he was on that Veronica Mars list.
All right, I can't surprise you with anything.
Well, not with these 13 actors, apparently, because,
Apparently.
I know that the Goot is in it for a time.
Yes,
Steve Guttenberg.
Steve Guttenberg's in like the 4th to last episode. In that episode, they show up at his house to cater his birthday party, and he like pulls in the car, and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry. My friends actually threw me a surprise birthday party last week, and I forgot to cancel with you all." And Henry, who is now the boss at that point, is like, "Well, we have a 48 hours cancellation notice. I'm sorry." He's like, "Well, all right, that's fine. I'll eat the deposit, but are you gonna throw away all the food?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess we kind of have to." He's like, "Well, I'm not doing anything today. Do you guys want to just throw a party here?"
Oh, how fun!
And it's about them.
Okay, all right.
It's about them having
their own party
with Steve Guttenberg.
That's fun. Okay, I'm definitely looking forward to watching the remainder of the show.
Yeah. It's a real, I don't know. It's a real fun time. I think it's a pretty witty comedy.
Okay.
Yeah. That's about all I've got to say about Party Down. Lesley, what was your favorite joke? I already said mine, the free market issue one.
You did. Free market issue. I would say it would either be that one, or I just really enjoyed just the very, very end. The very last line. It was like, so no Arnold then. I just really enjoyed it because, it's one of those moments. It's such a weird slapstick moment. And a lot of these comedies that are very smart and that do deal with a veneer of melancholy on top of them, what they do really well is the fact that it is nuanced comedy. And when you get into slapstick situations, it is done in a very careful way. And so that is I am always a huge sucker for those. Always. Totally. Like, he's sitting there like holding this flag that's burned and it just the way the whole thing ends. That's my favorite from this episode.
A good Ken Marino bit is when he's like lightly tapping on the burning flag with his foot just to dampen out those last couple of flames. For context, Roman spills barbecue sauce on the battle-torn flag that they're trying to give to the governor. Ron runs to get that washed in like this. Where are they? It's like a country club or a.
Yeah, or something like that.
Or like kind of like an old like kind of public union hall kind of place. Mm-hmm. In California. Anyway, runs into like the washer dryer, the utilities room or whatever. Tries to wash it, gets bleach on it and bleaches this war-torn flag, thus utterly ruining
it. At which point...
Oh, well, his solution is to burn a new flag.
Just get a new one. Just get a new flag and make it look like it was war-torn. So he takes the flag from the front of the big building and is like, all right, we got to make this look distressed. So... yeah, I think that whole, I'm such a sucker for stuff like that when everything comes together in that way and then someone says something like, are we having fun yet? I'm a sucker for that shit. Like, I just love it. At the very end when it's like, oh, so no Arnold then, I was like, okay, that's...
No, it is so good when he's like twirling the flag around with one arm, like he's windmilling the flag to kind of like beat the flames and rub it in dirt at the same time. And they look up and they see the entire California College Caucus, whatever they're called, like looking out the window down at him as he holds this burning American flag. Like Henry waves like a little slight like elbow wave, and then you can just see Ken Marino like very quietly with his like business dress shoe, like one of those ones that's like triangled up at the top or whatever, just like very lightly tapping on the flag with his foot to try to dampen the flames, as if somehow they won't notice his sleight of hand that flag was on fire.
Right.
It's such a good
moment.
Yeah. Henry then proceeds to take a photo of him in the moment. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah. So that'd be mine. That's mine.
That's such a good bit. Yeah. What a good show.
Good one. It's a good one.
All right. Folks, my name is Ben Hamlin. You can find me online at Ben C. Hamlin. That's BenChamlin over on Twitter.com. I'm always talking about all sorts of nonsense. You can check out my other show, Parascience, an exploration of the supernatural and unquantifiable. Also on InfinityBreak.net, as well as Comic Invasion, in which I do this, but for comic books. Lesley, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Vanetti, which is Vanetti, where I talk about, again, all sorts of nonsense, not nearly as eloquently or professionally as Ben does.
Oh.
I mean, it's true. You have a lot of very cool thoughts, and I mostly just shitpost. But it's a fun time, so that's where you can find me.
Lesley's the charismatic element of the show. I just know facts.
Why, thank you.
Yeah, you can find us both at InfinityBreak.net, where we're telling stories our own way. Podcasts, tabletop, all that jazz. You can find it right there at InfinityBreak.net. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/InfinityBreak, where you can get bonus content from all of our various shows. It sounds like we might have a little bonus feature from this episode on there. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Once again, your support in spreading the word about this show is highly appreciated. Please do tell your friends. Leave a 5-star review if you so wish. You can tweet about the show. Use the hashtag SWLAB. That's syndicated with Lesley and Ben, because that's us. Those are our names.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't actually have new. We don't actually have our next couple episodes planned, but I think we have.
We don't know what we're gonna do yet, but they're gonna be great. Whatever we choose, it's gonna be incredible, fantastic, and wonderful, and can't miss.
Yeah. So yeah, do stay tuned. And Lesley, in the coming weeks, let's figure out a title for that level of comedy.
Yeah, the weird melancholy ennui comedy.
Yeah.
We'll have to think about this. We'll workshop it.
Melancholy?
We'll workshop it.
We'll figure it out. All right, all right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you in 2 weeks time.
See ya.
The show you've just been listening to was Syndicated with Lesley and Ben, featuring Lesley Yates and Ben Hamlin. The show is produced and edited by Ben Hamlin, with a theme song by Mandra Sigma and a logo by Terra Bosart. You can check out all of our other work at InfinityBreak.net.